Insomnia is unfortunately a condition that evokes very little sympathy from many people. It is considered by many as a common and inconsequential disorder. For the afflicted, however, insomnia is a nightmare in wakefulness. Instead of sweet dreams, the victim is up at 3 a.m., eyes wide open, brain alert, feet pacing the floor relentlessly. So, what is insomnia? The experts define it as a disturbance of sleep onset or maintenance, or poor quality sleep. By definition, the sleep impairment must occur at least 3 times a week for 1 month, or for 3 months to be classed as chronic insomnia. Unexpectedly, the definition has the victim focusing and worrying excessively over their sleep or lack thereof. And to wrap up the definition, insomniacs are plagued by impairments of their daily activities. In short, insomnia is suffering. And the problems insomniacs have range from difficulty initiating sleep, difficulty maintaining sleep, early waking, and non-restorative sleep. Their daytime consequently also suffers. They are plagued by daytime sleepiness, fatigue, impaired attention and concentration, impaired memory, hyperactivity, impulsivity, and aggression. Talk of the raging insomniac. And add to that such complications as headache, delusions, mood disorders, and what you have is a brain running riot. And that is apart from such systemic consequences as cardiovascular disease, reflux, hypertension, and diabetes. And then add the risks of errors and accidents and poor social and occupational performance, and what you have is a royal flush. What are the roots to this most ignominious of conditions? Below is my countdown of 10 reasons your nighttime sleep is plagued by insomnia. Number 1, you are not getting enough exercise. Okay, there are many benefits to health of engaging in physical activity. Now you can add insomnia to the list of the ill consequences of physical inactivity. And the solution is simple. Get some walking shoes, or if it's your thing, some golf clubs, and get moving. Number 2, you have a heightened arousal. The reason your sleep is impaired may be due to your heightened state of arousal by the consumption of too much caffeine or alcohol, or by even smoking or indulging in substances of abuse. The solution might therefore be just the simple application of some willpower. Number 3, you are in the wrong job. Your job might be the reason why your nighttime sleep is impaired. It is perhaps a no-brainer that if you work shifts, your normal sleep will suffer. And if you are a high-flying business executive piling up all these air miles, your jet-lagged brain will complain, as it rightly should. The solutions? Dump the shift work. It is dangerous to your health at many other levels. You may want to see my related podcast titled 10 Occupations That Are Distinctly Hazardous to Your Nervous System for more on this. And for the flying addicted, get some life-work balance in place. Number 4, your sleep hygiene is poor. Yes, sleep also has its rules of hygiene, and if you ignore them, you do so at your peril. For example, it is perhaps common sense that the more excessively you nap in the daytime, the less your brain will be happy to shut off at night. And it is not rocket science that watching television late in the night is a sure recipe for insomnia. And for the generation X, Y, Z, replace bedtime TV with electronic gadgets and you have the same scenario playing out. Number 5, you have unfortunately suffered a major life event. Unlike the points we have seen so far, in which your own habits are contributing to insomnia, life events are unplanned catastrophes which we often have no way of preventing. Divorce or separation, for example, are leading causes of insomnia, as is bereavement. And whilst it is not a typical life event, domestic abuse probably comes under this theme as a cause of insomnia. And the solutions here may require some counseling. Number 6, you have a predisposing personality type. Again, this is something you can do nothing about. You may be an excessive worrier or a perfectionist. You may have a repressed personality, or you may be at the extreme end of neuroticism. Your biology may simply be setting your night up to fail. Again, some counseling and introspection and perhaps some physical therapies may help in this case. Number 7, you have a predisposing mental disorder. Many mental illnesses, unfortunately and understandably, are associated with insomnia, and leading here are anxiety disorder, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Before falling victim of sleeping pills, first have a psychological or psychiatric assessment if appropriate. Number 8, you have an underlying medical cause. And just as mental illnesses can predispose to insomnia, so can many physical illnesses. Apart from disorders accompanied by pain and other forms of physical impairments, almost any systemic illness can be the trigger for insomnia. Therefore, before making a diagnosis or self-diagnosis of insomnia, have the appropriate assessments and treatment for any underlying provoking disease. Number 9, you have a sleep-related disorder. Perhaps the most deceptive causes of insomnia are those which rear their heads in the sleep itself. And amongst these are such movement disorders as restless leg syndrome or RLS, periodic limb movements of sleep, PLMS, and nocturnal leg cramps. And if you snore, then better check that you do not suffer with sleep apnea, a leading cause of disturbed sleep and of insomnia. Number 10, you are taking an insomniac drug. Finally, the cause of your insomnia may be your doctor. Yes, the list of medications that can cause insomnia is literally endless. And they include many commonly prescribed drugs. The roll call ranges from amphetamines, beta blockers, fluoxetine and venlafaxine, to lamotrigine, methylphenidate, modafinil, and prednisolone. So there you go, many causes of insomnia to pick through. But on the positive side, most are potentially reversible. Thank you very much for listening or watching this podcast. If you found it enlightening, why not like or subscribe to the iTunes, YouTube, or Spotify channels. And whilst waiting for the next episode of the podcast, you might want to check out my book, Surfing the Brain, or my website called Neuro Checklist. Thank you very much for your time.